Hi there, and welcome to the Gift of Feedback, continuing the conversation. As I promised in my session at the 2013 Virginia State SHRM Conference, I wanted to create a series of videos that answered the 5 most frequently asked questions whenever I've delivered the Gift of Feedback presentation. So I thought I'd start off with one of the most common questions that I get whenever I deliver the Gift of Feedback to any audience. And that is the concept of confrontation. When I review what are some of the barriers, why is it that people can't seem to get this whole giving feedback, that open, simple, direct conversation between manager and employee thing right, one of the answers, one of the things that I've seen in my career has been people are inherently afraid of confrontation. So the question that I've been asked is, Elizabeth, what do you do about that? How do you get managers to understand confrontation is healthy? Because here's the thing, confrontation is healthy. It is a critical way of managing conflict, because if you don't confront conflict, then it's just going to continue and it's going to fester and it's going to boil until it just blows up into like catastrophe. So the first thing that I would say is confrontation is in fact healthy, but what has happened is, as a society, we have attached such a negative connotation to that word. I always tell people, well, yeah, absolutely, I'm confrontational. I have no issues with that. And they kind of look at me and they're like, oh, you're confrontational. As if, wow, that's just, you're a heathen because you're confrontational. The reality is that the reason why confrontation has got such bad juju attached to it is because it's not done correctly. When people normally are confrontational, they're nasty about it. They get very personal about it. It becomes an attack on the other person. They're rude, they're disrespectful, they're discourteous, and all of those other things that really make people feel about yo big. And when we do that, of course, confrontation is going to have some really bad juju attached to it. So when it's done right, confrontation, when approached properly, is critical to any organization. It's critical to solving problems in any organization. But here's the thing, folks, it's also great in solving problems at home, on a personal level, with your significant other, with teenage kids, with friends, with family, and so on and so forth. And I'm going to share something very, very personal with you. I'm happily married to an active duty United States Marine, but here's what a lot of people might not know. This is in fact my second marriage. The first go around for me, I was married to a gentleman for 9 years. Now, I could very easily sit here and pin the whole relationship fell apart thing on him. I could turn around and say, well, he was a jerk and he wasn't loving and he wasn't attentive and this, that, and the other thing. I could turn around and I could do that for hours. But the reality is that I played just as big a role in the demise of that relationship as he did. Do you know why? Because I never confronted him about the issues that I had, about how I felt about our relationship, about how I felt about how he made me feel. I never talked to him about it. So guess what? When you fail to confront things like I did in that marriage, you know what? Had I confronted things, potentially we would have still, actually no, we totally would have still broken up. We still would have gotten a divorce. But here's the thing, as opposed to me spending 9 years of my life with this man, perhaps those 9 years would have been shortened to 2 years. So translate that into the business world that we live in, right? You have an employee that's not performing. This person just goes on and on and on, and nobody's confronting the issues. So before you know it, this employee's been with your organization 5, 7, 10 years. Imagine the damage that actively disengaged employees can do to your company. They impact productivity, which impacts the bottom line in your organization. They spread like a virus, like a cancer. They infect other people. They take those actively engaged people and they start creating doubt in their minds. They start, and by the way, those actively engaged people see that these actively disengaged people are getting away with murder, and it makes them mad. And of course it should make them mad because they're not being held accountable. So when we take when we are courteous about confrontation, when we're diplomatic about it. Wait, I take that back because I don't like the word diplomatic. Diplomatic to me implies sugarcoating. And sugarcoating is not effective. I'm not saying go out there and club people over the head like they do in the Flintstones cartoons. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is be courteous, be respectful, speak to people with a measure of empathy, and you're going to yield far greater results. So, how do we help managers overcome this issue with confrontation? Well, I think that answer is pretty self-explanatory if you've been to my session. It's the gift of feedback. It's the model that I've created, the Pfizer model, where we talk about the facts and only the facts. We do not engage in opinions here. We don't get on a soapbox and start, well, I feel this and you made me feel like that and I'm so disappointed in you. And speaking to people in less than a civilized tone, describing the impact, clearly articulating the action that you're taking, clearly setting out expectations, talking to people about the support that we as leaders are going to give them in helping them to exceed those expectations, and finally explaining very clearly what the repercussions are of not meeting those expectations. So that really is the answer. The answer is it's the gift of feedback, and I can come to your organization and I can deliver that training, which by the way, it is a 3-hour training session because it does involve role plays, it does involve case studies, it does involve a lot of interaction. But give us a call and Adelante Human Resources Consulting can come to your organization and help your leadership team embrace confrontation, learn how to do it the right way, be proactive about it instead of reactive, and as a result, you're going to grow better leaders, your employees are going to be happier, they're going to be engaged, and your entire organization is going to benefit positively from it by improved productivity, which positively impacts the bottom line. So give us a call today and find out more about how Adelante Human Resources Consulting can come to your organization and deliver the gift of feedback. Thank you, and stay tuned for part 2 of Frequently Asked Questions and the Gift of Feedback, continuing the conversation. Have a great day.